Hello and welcome to the class. Today we will be discussing very important topic in the JavaScript, and the topic is function in JavaScript. JavaScript function is very important topic as most of the implementation or the functionality in any programming language is mostly done in the function. So let's start. What does function do in JavaScript? Here is the simple definition of the JavaScript function. A JavaScript function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. What does this mean? It is nothing but a block of code, and it is intended to perform any task. For example, if you want to the function to perform an addition, we shall design a function which will take the numbers that you will provide to it, and it will simply add those numbers and will return the result. A JavaScript function is executed when something invokes it. Remember it, if you are designing a function, it will not be called until and unless you trigger it or invoke it. For example, on the websites we have different type of buttons like submit button, add button, delete button. These kind of actions require something to happen when they are clicked. So what actually happens on the click of those buttons? A function is called at the back that performs the concerned operation on that button. For example, like if we want to add a record in a database, or simply we want to submit our form, so on the submission button, the data entered by the user is sent to the server and is recorded in the database, and resultantly the entered data appears on our screen. So this is how function works. It requires a trigger or invocation before it is called. It is basically called when it is triggered. So that was the definition of a function. Let's make it more clearer with an example. For example, I am sharing a scenario with you. We want volume of any something like container, the volume of the container, or the volume of any substance or any material. So a volume of container, we will calculate for example, there is a question or something like design that says design a function that calculates the volume of a container. The function should get three values, since the volume must be consisting of three values: length, breadth and height. So and return the result. Alright, there is a scenario. Now we have a clear scenario that says calculate the volume of a container, and the function should take three values from the user and calculates the result and returns it. So now what will we do? In the JavaScript we have two ways to define a function. First way is normal function, that we use keyword function and define it. Another ways, so there are two ways to write a function. What are the two ways? One is normal function, another one is arrow function. Arrow function, basically the concept of arrow function was introduced in the ECMAScript 6. So this is the concept of ECMAScript 6 that is also considered as the modern JavaScript. I will create a separate video for the ECMAScript 6 since it is a very lengthy topic. So we will cover this ECMAScript 6 concept in that particular video. So we will implement both of these functions in our example. So here we go. First we are going to implement with a normal function. With the normal function, what we do, we will define a variable. Let's say it's a norm or it's a volume. Calculate volume, and we will define the function. What it does, it takes a three variable: length, width, and height. All right, these we have three parameters. Now what will we do? We will simply return the how is volume calculated. Volume is calculated by multiplying these three parameters. Well, all right, so what actually this function does, this function takes three parameters: length, width, height, and it simply multiplies all the three values, and returns it to the variable that to the calculate volume variable. And what will we do? We will now try to trigger this. Let me tell you how it is triggered. Volume is equal to calculate function. For example, we have 5 meters length, 5 meters width, 5 meters height. So let's see if we are getting the intended results. We will try to print it. Okay, the volume of the container is given container is volume, because we have stored the value returned by this function. Calculate volume is stored in the calculate volume. So we have triggered the calculate volume and passed three arguments. 5 will go into the length, and next 5 will go into the width, and the last one go into the height, and these values are multiplied. And let's see if we are getting the intended value. Make sure that the unnecessary text is commented, otherwise the compiler will throw an error. This is also unnecessary to the compiler. Okay, all right, here is the result: 125. So 5 the 25, and 25 the 5 makes 125. This is how function works. It is very important to remember the syntax, otherwise you cannot write function well and you will keep facing errors from the compiler. All right, so now this was a normal function. Now let's do it with the arrow function. Arrow function. All right, so const calculate volume is equal to we will not, this is an arrow function, we will use arrow here. So this is how the simplest syntax of arrow function looks like. Now because we have three parameters: length, width, and height. Let's say we store height in h, and we will return the multiplication of length into width into height. So this shall return the multiplication or the result of the multiplication of these values. So we have three values: length, width and height. So here we will not define other value, we will just simply rename this. We will trigger this function now. What we are doing, we are triggering this function. Let's change the values so it is the result is more considerable and understandable. As previously we have all the 5 values, now we are taking 3 values for all the parameters. We are passing these are called arguments, and these are called function. What we pass to the function is in the function, these are called parameters. So the arguments are 3 3 3. This 3 goes into the length, this next 3 goes into the width, and the final one goes into the h or the height. And these are multiplied, all these values are multiplied and returned to the volume. And this is what we call triggering. This is what we have triggered the function. So let's see if we are getting the intended result. The volume of the container is, it should be like 3 into 3 9, 9 into 3 max 27. Oh, all right, because we have unnecessary text here, we need to comment it out. Now re-execute. So we have the result here. Here is the result 27. So we have got the result. This is the basic concept of functions in the JavaScript. This is how you will also be implementing the functions in the JavaScript. So this was all about today's class. If you have any question, any query, or you have got stuck somewhere, you have got issues with your code, you can share with me on my email mentioned on my account, or simply comment. If you for more easy way, just comment your problems under my video and I will share the solution with you. Thank you.